Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about what to do when the people in your life do not understand or support your spiritual path. Whether that's people being aggressive and confrontational with you, or maybe you've just lost a lot of people and you're finding yourself going through this deconstruction process or this growth process alone. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and talk to me in the comments. Check out my description box for links to my Facebook and Instagram and my discussion group. So Juliana says, I believe in God. I pray. I am building my relationship with God, practicing my faith every day. I am in a relationship where my significant other is becoming very religious and lives literally by the Bible. And I feel bad because I'm not religious, but he wants me to be Christian and follow him, but I'm having a hard time. I don't want to lose who I am. So first of all, Juliana, my heart goes out to you and everybody else in this situation. It's so hard to be in a situation where you feel torn between the most important person in your life and the most important thing in your life, which is your faith. So first we're going to talk about how to handle this with a life partner, with a spouse or significant other. And then we're going to talk about this from more of a general perspective. With a significant other, I don't know what type of religious environment you were raised in, but I know many of us were taught that when you're picking a life partner, to make sure that you aren't unequally yoked, or that you don't have different religious beliefs, because it's not going to work out very well. There's some truth to that, and that can be really good advice if it works out that way. I'd say for a lot of people it probably doesn't, just because in our world today we have access to so much information and people grow and change in their beliefs throughout their lifetime. So it can be really unrealistic to expect two people to come together, share the same beliefs, and stay that way for their whole lives. The reality is people change. People grow and evolve. That's what we're here to do. It's what we're supposed to do. And people should be able to do that without fear of losing the most important people in their life. But of course, things are often more complicated than that. We're all human at different places in our growth, and we have emotions and expectations, and we get triggered. So the guiding principle to remember here is that love must be freely given. So love does not control, manipulate, force, or coerce. Love freely accepts people as they are. And I had to learn this the hard way. My husband and I have never seen eye to eye spiritually since the time that we got married. When we got married, I was a fundamentalist Christian and he was deconstructing. Of course, I didn't realize this until after we got married. And I remember I was so angry and so disappointed because I thought I had married someone who shared my beliefs. And by the way, he is fine with me talking about this. And I had thought, we're going to go to church together and we're going to raise our kids a certain way together. And then I kind of got blindsided with the fact that this isn't going to happen. And I didn't handle it as maturely as I should have. Although looking back, I'm not sure if I could have expected any better from myself from the level of consciousness that I was at then. Now, of course, we still don't agree on a lot of things, but I'm really grateful that he deconstructed before I did, because I got the sweet end of the deal. When it was my turn to shift in my beliefs, he was so understanding and supportive because he had been there. And so now I understand this from the other end. When you're the one who's changing and there's nobody to talk to about it, it can be so lonely. And I didn't provide that for him when he was going through the process. Now, Juliana, in your experience, it sounds like maybe it's the opposite, that he's the one who's changed and become more religious. The most important thing is to offer acceptance and support, no matter which side of the coin you are on, no matter which direction your significant other is changing. So I have 3 tips for you. Number 1, you have to be true to what you believe. You alone are responsible for your own spiritual journey. You alone are living that out every day. You alone are accountable for that. Don't hide or change who you are or what you believe to make somebody else happy. That will only end in disaster. People who truly love you will accept you for who you are, because that's what love does. Unfortunately, many of us are not fully expressing love in that way, and so we express our love as trying to change people because we're trying to save them or make them better in some way. The most important thing for you to do is to grow spiritually on your path. That is the reason that you're here. Number 2, try to be as gracious as possible, whether you are the one changing or being pressured to change or watching somebody else change. Find your center here. You are love. You are complete. You are whole. You know who you are. You don't need anybody's approval to feel good about yourself, and so you have the strength and the presence to allow people to also be who they are. And if there's conflict in the relationship over your beliefs, try to always respond calmly out of that centered place. Don't try to, push your beliefs on anybody else or try to convince anybody that you're right. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Even if they're the ones doing all the pressuring and convincing, you don't have to defend your beliefs. You don't have to convince them of what you're doing is right. Just stay in that place of being centered and calm in who you are and live out of that and respond graciously out of that place. The thing about religion is that it tends to be very fear-based. And so people within religion often think, if you don't believe exactly like I do, you're going to hell. Even though they're coming from a place of fear, they're expressing love in the only way they know how. If you can continually express true love, which is unconditional acceptance, then maybe it will help to open their eyes and help them to see, wait, this feels really good to be accepted for who I am. Maybe I should offer that in return. 3, if you're in a committed relationship, then it's just a matter of continuing to talk and work these things out and ultimately get to a place where you find peace in offering each other the freedom to be who you are, whether or not you agree with each other. This can work, but both people have to be committed, and it can take a long time as we all work through our personal issues. It's a process, and it can actually be a good process as long as the relationship is not abusive, as long as it's a healthy relationship. That process of working out your issues with people and talking things out and working things out can actually be really healthy and a really good catalyst for spiritual growth for both of you. If you're not in a committed relationship, then ultimately you guys will have to figure out, is this a healthy long-term situation, or are we just on 2 different paths here? Ultimately, there's no right or wrong about what somebody believes. There's no judgment. There's no, I'm more enlightened than them because I'm more or less, religious or spiritual than they are. So it really is just a matter of, can we both be mutually respectful and supportive of each other? Moving outside the context of life partners and speaking more in a general sense, because I get messages from you guys all the time. I feel so alone. I'm on this spiritual growth process and my beliefs have shifted so much and nobody understands. And in some situations, people are confrontational or aggressive. I've even had people say, my parents have disowned me over this. I've lost all my friends. I have nobody to talk to. And people will say, I'm so glad I found your videos because now I know I'm not crazy. Now I know I'm not alone. And first, I just want to say, I am speaking to you out of my own pain here. Okay? Loneliness has been one of the biggest struggles in my life. And I think it's actually a pretty common issue for people to have. And the reason why, and I got 4 points for you here. This is my first point. The truth is that we are all connected. We are all one. And so loneliness is a big issue and a big struggle for so many because it's not our true nature. It's not who we really are, and we are missing the connectedness that we actually have to everyone and everything. So first, it can help. It doesn't always help, especially if you're going through a lot of pain. But over the long term, it can help to ask yourself, okay, I'm feeling lonely. I'm going through this experience. Why? If the truth is that we are all one, I can never actually be separated from anyone. I can never actually lose anybody. What is the purpose of this illusion of being separate and alone and experiencing all this conflict in my relationships? It is about growth. And especially if this is happening on your spiritual journey, if you're losing people because you're growing spiritually, it is a catalyst. Catalyst is a scientific term used in chemistry, and it means a substance that increases the rate of a chemical reaction without being changed itself. So a catalyst in your spiritual growth is an opportunity that's being given to you to quickly and effectively enhance your spiritual growth. So in the experience of being alone, of losing people, of having conflict, this is an opportunity for you to dig deep and find your center. Learn to find your peace within. Awaken to your true nature. You are love. You are whole. You are complete. We're being forced into a situation where we have to recognize the illusory nature of reality. Abandonment is a catalyst for developing inner peace. Adversity and conflict is a catalyst for developing inner strength. Or maybe a better word of developing would be finding it, realizing it's already there, it's already who you are. God is here. Everything you need is here. This is where you find that connection to everyone and everything else that you're looking for outside of you. Which leads me into my next point. Number 2, make spiritual growth a priority. First, recognize this is a catalyst. Second, take advantage of it. Focus on cleaning out all the gunk that's up here and becoming the peace, becoming the light, becoming the strength, becoming everything else that you feel like you are missing out here. So that's easy to say, but practically, how do you do this? Well, this is going to look different for every person. I can simply share with you what works for me and what's helped me. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Have a daily practice of gratitude. There's nothing else that will shift your mindset and shift your whole inner state overnight. So every day, at least 3 things that you're thankful for. Write it down, keep a list, share it with somebody for that accountability. Meditation. I personally have gotten a lot out of what's called self-inquiry. And I feel like I mention Aaron Apke in every single one of my videos, but that's because he's helped me so much. I will put some links in the description to his Remember I Am challenge and his meditation that will explain it so much better than I ever could. But basically it's connecting to the sense of I am. I also regularly do Joe Dispenza's meditations to help rewrite subconscious programming, which I've found incredibly freeing and liberating. And lastly, I recommend A Course in Miracles workbook. It takes you step by step through the process of retraining your mind to see reality as it is, which is everything is love. 3, remember to have grace. One thing I see a lot of is that when people have a shift in their beliefs or in their spiritual awareness, they often conclude, I've been awakened, or I'm right, I've found the truth, and everybody else by default is wrong or still asleep or believing a lie, being deceived. And this simply is not true. Okay, but I see this a lot in the Christian Universalist community. When somebody converts from infernalism to universalism, they often look back at their family and friends who are all still infernalists and think, oh, I have to convert them. I have the truth now, and I need to save them from their wrong beliefs. This is also very common in anybody who's deconstructing, to look back at the people who are still in fundamentalism and think they're still asleep. And I'm awake, I'm enlightened. It's common in New Age circles as well to think I'm spiritually enlightened, I'm spiritually awakened, and all these other people are still asleep. But really, when we see things this way, when we see ourselves as being awakened or enlightened and everybody else as being asleep, or we see ourselves as having the correct beliefs and other people as being wrong, that's really a sign that we're not as enlightened as we think we are, because that's us having an ego trip. It helps to remember that people have the same experiences in the opposite direction. So if somebody converts, say, from New Age to Christianity, they're going to have the same experience. They're going to think, I'm right, I've found the correct belief system, and all those people in the New Age are on their way to hell. This is just part of human nature. It's part of the ego to think that we're right and everyone else is wrong. So just because I've shifted in my beliefs does not mean that I'm now right. And a lot of times when we're going through a lot of opposition, if people are being really confrontational with us, we can get into this frame of mind where we're thinking, people are persecuting me because I'm right. They're all being controlled by the matrix, and they're out to get me, and it's me against them. The whole world is after me. And that's really just a construct created by our ego to help us deal with the fact that we feel alone, that we feel attacked. The number one sign of a true spiritual awakening is a recognition of oneness with others. So if we are in any way seeing ourselves as capable of being attacked or being belittled or being abandoned, and yes, this is part of the process, it's a normal part of human nature, but if we are still seeing ourselves as capable of being hurt and offended in any way, then we have not fully awakened, because true awakening is not a realization that, oh wow, I've awakened out of the matrix and look at all these sleeping people, look at all these people who don't understand and they're out to get me. True awakening realizes there is no matrix. There is only love, and everything else is simply an illusion. The idea that I can be attacked, that's an illusion. I am a perfect, complete, and whole spiritual being, son or daughter of God. I can't be attacked. Nobody can take anything away from me. And so I have to work within where that perception is off. All we need to do is to see people with the eyes of compassion and express love to them. That's it. We don't need to convince them that we are right. We don't need to defend our new beliefs to them. We don't need to try to awaken them into the same experience that we've had. Just be love. Find your inner peace, find your inner wholeness, and always respond out of that place. And ultimately, if anything is going to have the power to mend some of those rifts with other people, it's going to be unconditional love, acceptance, and grace. But in order to offer that, and that's why I said point number 2, before we get to point number 3, point number 2, focus on your own growth, because in order to offer that unconditional compassion to others, you gotta be strong here. You have to be it here first. And number 4, for those of you who are really hurting, those of you who have lost everybody, maybe you got down to the point where you had 1 or 2 friends left that you thought you could count on, and then out of the blue, they're just gone and you're alone. Or maybe you're one of those people whose parents have disowned you over your beliefs. A few things: try to find at least one person that you can talk to. Sometimes just having that one person, even if it's somebody online, even if you find a Facebook group of like-minded people that you can just get involved in and have somebody to talk to, even if you need to see a therapist. If you need help, get help. There is no shame in that. I am 34 years old and I see a therapist. Just having somebody to talk to can be a lifesaver. Also, take the time that you need to mourn the relationships that you've lost. Don't rush yourself through it. It is okay to feel the pain. Feel whatever emotions you need to feel. Anger, sadness, overwhelm. Feel them and then let them go. And keep working your way through this process as many times as you need to. Fill your time with things that give you purpose. Take care of yourself mentally and emotionally. Exercise, eat right, make sure you're getting sleep. Give yourself some goals to work towards in your life, to occupy your attention so that you're not just spiraling or obsessing whenever your mind is free. Having a morning and night routine can help, where maybe you meditate and you do your gratitude journal and you pray and you exercise. Remember, the people that are supposed to be in your life will be drawn to you because you are already fulfilled. And be open and trusting, asking God to bring healthy relationships into your life when it's the right time. Please know, most of all, that you are not alone. Even though it feels so lonely, you are not alone. There are so many of us going through these same experiences together, and I have you guys in my heart and in my prayers. Let me know if you have any further questions about this. Be loved, be happy, be at peace, and thank you for watching.